think Brian Cox is like yelling in the hallway, which is giving me PTSD.
And we were watching The Simpsons together, and then suddenly it's like, oh my God, you're really cool all of a sudden. You're on The Simpsons. And you're Lisa Simpson. That just blew my mind.
I had a lawn care business because it's fun to blow the leaves, but it's not fun to put them in the bags. We would like get paid and then we would just quit midway through it.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, David. How's it going, man?
Good. Thank you for hanging out with me.
Sure.
We wanted to do something together. This is not about getting back at Dad. But if it hurts him, it doesn't bother me.
I mean, it's a tightrope walk on a straight razor. 500-foot reputational drop.
Why is that making you smile? That shouldn't make you smile. Who likes tightrope walking a straight razor?
You cannot win. Your dad will wash you away.
This is a chessboard,
Are you tanking the deal?
and every move is crucial. Like Israel-Palestine, Greg, but harder and much more important.
To kick things off, at the end of season 3 of Succession, we saw Kendall break down and, from my perspective, sort of unburden himself in a way that may actually create a path to happiness for him.
Yeah, that's very true.
With Succession coming to an end in season 4, what would you say happiness or a happy ending looks like for Kendall?
Elusive, but I do think what you said is incredibly insightful, and it's given Kendall a kind of new lease on life and new energy, and that's where we find them, and and then you can imagine that it might all start to tumble downhill, from there.
Because it's Succession.
Right.
You and I have something very specific in common, and that's that we both love the smell of a bookstore. One of my favorite smells in the entire world. And I wondered, is that specifically because you love to read, or does that make you nostalgic for something else entirely?
Well, it's a nostalgic smell, right? It's a nostalgic feeling, but I'm sure it's connected to that I love to read. I love bookstores. In my 20s, when I was broke and struggling to be an actor and had nothing to do to fill my time, I would just I could spend hours in them. So it's also, there's a feeling of refuge and safety for me in a bookstore. Yeah. Although it's interesting because it doesn't translate into the smell of a library. I don't like the library smell at all.
Right.
I find it very cloistering.
Another thing we have in common is that we both used to wait tables at restaurants at one point in our lives. For me, it's been nearly 20 years, but I still have nightmares that I can't get to my tables in time, or the computer is broken, or the order is wrong. And I wondered.
Sorry, I think Brian Cox is like yelling in the hallway, which is giving me PTSD.
I wondered if actors have nightmares about work and what that looks like.
Sure. I mean, I think there's a kind of recurring nightmare that you have to go on stage and you haven't prepared, or you're about to shoot something and you forgot to, you're not prepared. I'm a real preparation nut. So not being prepared is a nightmare to me.
Of course. What about those restaurant nightmares? Any of those?
I haven't. I think I've effectively blocked out that time in my life, but
same. Well, I'm such a huge fan of you, Jeremy, and love your work on this. And the number of times Kendall has broken my heart, I don't even have toes and fingers to count it. So thank you for your work on this.
Thanks. That means a lot to me.
Best of luck to you.
Thanks.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, David. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm good.
Good.
Thank you.
I have a question that I love to ask actors who are really, really good at American accents. And you are very, very good at American accents. And that question is whether you have a particular phrase or word that you use to slip into that American accent.
I wish I may end up developing one on the next project that is an American thing. But I found with Shiv, truly just the writing would slip me back in. Like I would try and practice beforehand if I was coming back from Australia after Christmas holidays and would go, oh, maybe I need to practice my American accent. I'm like, oh, no, it's terrible. It's gone. I don't know. I'm never going to be able to do this again. But as soon as the writing was there, it was always, it was like, oh, there's Shiv. That's easier.
You just have to say something really horrible and it just comes naturally.
Yeah, just like swear a lot.
Right. I read that you were a big fan of The Simpsons growing up
Yeah.
and wondered what it was like seeing that show spoof Succession and actually create a character based on Shiv.
The more exciting one, actually, though, was watching the opening credits when they did the spoof of the Succession opening credits, and I was Lisa.
Yeah.
I mean, and the more exciting part about that as well was my stepson was with us when we were watching it, and it just started rolling, and we were watching The Simpsons together, and then suddenly it's like, oh my God, you're really cool all of a sudden. You're on, you're on The Simpsons, and you're Lisa Simpson. That was really, that just blew my mind. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that for you so much. Whether it's a classic Roy family party or a day on a yacht, I can't help but notice the incredible spreads of food that always appear on the show over the years. Do you all get to take a box of that home at the end of the day?
Not as often as you'd think. And sometimes it's because we don't have, we've got to like move on to the next scene and then forget. There was one time we had sushi from a very nice sushi place. And there was like sushi that was just untouched that we didn't eat because it's classic Roy's to just buy expensive food and then not eat it. But I was like, this sushi is going to waste. So all the cold stuff, can I please have? And it was very delicious. Yeah.
Perks of the job.
I'm sure that the crew have been able to eat a lot of that nice food, but
yeah,
sort of get whisked off to the next scene and miss out.
That's amazing. Well, I'm such a big fan of yours and I love this show and so happy for all your success. Thank you for taking the time today.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, Nicholas.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
What was the moment when you realized that this character had taken off as a fan favorite?
I don't know. There was a New Yorker piece that was written that said like a love letter to Cousin Greg, Succession, Secret Weapon. And I was like, holy the New Yorker is writing a piece like this. Like I assumed in the beginning, like who's actually seen this thing? It's like probably a small audience. And then when an article like that got written, I was like, okay, people are watching. Some people are watching. They want to write about this show. Okay. Or about me.
A lot of people do, including Bon Jovi, who was almost starstruck when you unexpectedly met him during a Barstool Sports Pizza review in 2020. Like,
yes.
That was insane. Who is the most surprising person to recognize you as Cousin Greg?
Spielberg was a big one. Meryl Streep was a big one.
Just a few small names.
Yeah, those are a couple. Yeah, they've been in the industry for a while, so they're pretty respected. So that was cool. Somebody sent me something like 2 or 3 weeks into season 1. It was Charles Barkley being like, can we wrap this up? Like, I got to get home and watch Succession. I was like, okay. Charles Barkley's watching the show. Like, so this is crazy. So a lot of people, it's really wild. I'm still not used to it.
Speaking of 2020, I just have to say, at a time when we were all looking for something to keep us entertained, your song Antibodies became one of my favorite things and something we all enjoyed talking about. I walk around my house singing it to my dog, and I was doing it this morning after listening to it last night.
Amazing.
That's
awesome.
So good. I literally walking around today going, do you have the antibodies?
Yes. Oh my God.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to thank you.
I'm so glad you liked it. I mean, that was a crazy COVID thing. I mean, that was early COVID that I just made that Instagram video and people were down. They were just so it was important if we're going to make that song that it be a banger. And I'm very proud of that song. I think it rocks. I'm stoked. So thank you. Thanks for continuing to listen to it. Yeah.
I do. Even aside from the pandemic, it's just a good song.
Yeah, I feel like it's still relevant because we're still, we're always going to get these vaccines, right? So we're getting antibodies, flu season every year. It should be playing at CVS, should be playing in the urgent care place, you know? So I'm gonna make that push soon. Get it in all the pharmacies.
You started acting professionally when you were just 17. Did you ever have any jobs outside of acting?
I had a lawn care business that I started in 6th or 7th grade. Someone my mom was dating for many years owned a landscaping company, and he gave me one leaf blower, and I just got some bags, and me and my buddy put up some flyers and went door to door with this leaf blower, and it was called K&B Lawn Care, Kowalski and Braun, and we were not very successful. We would quit the job midway through because it's fun to blow the leaves, but it's not fun to put them in the bags. So I think we would like get paid, and then we would just quit midway through and keep putting up flyers as if that was an okay business model.
I feel like Cousin Greg would do the same thing.
Yeah. The actual work part is not fun, but the making the money part is cool. Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time with me today, Nicholas. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Great to meet you. Thanks for listening to Antibodies.
And I will continue to do so. Get it in some CVSs.
Yes.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. See you, man.
Bye.
Why does everyone ask how I'm feeling? I got done a huge deal. I got the election. I got ATM. I got plenty on my plate.
He's on the floor, Tom.
Explain to me what he's doing.
He's moseying, terrifyingly moseying. It's like if Santa Claus was a hitman.
We were cut out behind our backs. But there's a shape for things for us. We partner up with Sandy and Stewie, with Pierce. Death wrestling ogres.
Excited to get into this knife fight?
Let's blow it up.
I'm not authorized to let you take off.
It's Dad. You know, in Buddhism, sometimes your greatest tormentor can also be your most perceptive teacher.
Hey, Buddha, nice Tom Fords.
There's a night of the long knives coming. I need a fire breather. Your help with maths.
You really want me?
I need you.
Mr. Mencken, my most unworthy opponent.
Still clinging to your slice of pie.
Where are you at now?
1%.
The fear is it could get squeezed.
Squeezed down? From 1? Because that's the lowest number.
I love you, but you are not serious people.
I have it on good authority. There is a kill list.
Ken, is your head on straight?
We've been schooled by a barbarian that goes by the name Logan Roy.
I mean, he's out of control. You want to clear the air? You're a snake.
You have hurt me more than you can possibly imagine.
I have some concerns about your old man.
I will sue, and I will go public.
You point your finger at me, I point my finger at you.
We are going to grind you down, man. We are sand in the gears. I hate you. Do you understand that?
Loud and clear.
Good. Done.
I'm going to build something bigger, faster, wilder. I want to kill the opposition, cut their throats. We are